To solder SMD components, we don't need a soldering iron or hot air station. We only need some sand. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Soldering a resistor is the simplest way to start learning SMD soldering. Start by applying flux to one pad on the circuit board. Place the resistor in its place and hold it there with a tweezer. Apply some solder to the tip of your iron. Touch the iron tip on solder pad to solder the resistor in its place. In the same way, we can solder all the components including ICs. It may take few hours, maybe days, depending on the number of components into PCB board. For SMD soldering, we usually use items like soldering iron, essentially a fine tipped one, solder wire or paste, solder flux, tweezers, and microscope or a magnifying glass. Another way of soldering is using a hot air station. In this technique, we take some solder paste and place it on a solder pad. Then we place the respective components on it and use the hot air station to solder all the components automatically on the PCB. This technique is quite easy compared to the previous one, but keep in mind, we have to maintain a low speed of the blower so that the components don't get misplaced. The methods I have already shown till now is either time consuming in case of soldering iron or very costly in case of hot air station. So today I will show you a simple way that only takes few minutes, and more importantly, we don't need any experience for the job and also don't need soldering iron or hot air station. The new method which I am going to show you will require a stencil for my PCB, and luckily PCBWay also allows us to order the stencil of the submitted PCB. When you are going to order, don't forget to check on the stencil box. They charge few dollars depending on the stencil size and thickness. After getting the package, as you can see, we have got the PCBs along with the stencils. Before applying the solder, we need to make sure the PCB is fixed properly on a surface. For that, we need to fix the PCB with the help of few unused PCB and masking tape. After that, we have to place the stencil and make sure it is properly aligned over the solder pad. And then we have to apply a dash of solder paste on stencil and spread solder paste using a flexible card at a 45-degree angle so that the solder paste gets applied on the PCB properly. Here I am using an expired debit card. You can use any of that such cards. After applying the paste, we have to remove the excess paste by swiping the card at 90-degree angle over the stencil. This same stencil can be used several times for the remaining PCBs as well. After applying the solder paste, the PCB should look like this. Then we position all of the SMD components using a tweezer on the PCB. Now it's time for the main trick. We took an induction cooktop and a frying pan. We filled it with some sand and heated the pan. After some time, when it is hot enough, in my case around 165 degrees Celsius, we have placed aluminium foil on the sand and finally added the PCB. I always recommend to use a paste having a low melting point so that the components don't get damaged. Within 20 to 30 seconds, the solder starts melting and the components takes their position automatically. When the soldering is complete and the circuit board has cooled, inspect it to see if everything looks okay. Look for solder bridges, misplaced components, and bad or non-existing solder joints. In case of solder bridge, use solder wick to remove excess material. Look how perfect it is, almost equal to the standard of a pick and place machine. Now that the video is completed, in such a short time, we have a lot of time and space in our hand. Oh, talking about space. Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform for creating your own domain, website or an online store without installing any patch or app. They have a lot of new templates and they are continuously updating it. It is helpful for those who don't know how to code and still want a beautiful looking website. If you still need any help, you can contact their 24/7 customer helpline service. Go to squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you are ready to make a purchase, don't forget to use coupon code DDElectrotech for additional 10% discount. So that's it for now. See you in our next video. Until then, bye bye.